All right, good morning. I'm Aaron Heiser, Maker's Leather Supply. We just finished a video a minute ago on tooling this, and at the very end of the video, I decided to change my mind, and I wanted to dye and antique this little project here. This is going to be a tally book cover when it's done. I decided to dye it and antique it because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buck stitch around the outside edge with dark brown buck stitch lace, and I think it's going to look really, really nice once it's all put together. So I thought, you know what, I better turn the camera back on because a lot of people ask me about dyeing areas and things like that, and especially antiquing. I'm going to make this real easy on myself to dye. All I'm going to dye are these two beaded border lines, okay, right here and right here. Those two lines on the outside of that rope edge, that's all I'm going to dye. And so since those are what I'm going to dye, I've got two choices. I could get out my dye and I could get out a little bitty paintbrush and I could try to keep my hand steady and go all the way around it. Or I could use one of these pen, dye pen sets that we carry. They're from the Real Leather brand. I was pretty skeptical about these when they first sent me a set and told me to try them out and see what I thought of them. But honestly, I really like them. I like them a lot. And so yeah, these are, they come in, there's 4 different packs of 6. Each pack is a different set of colors. This is the Earth Tones pack, which is all the browns and the black. Each of the pens has a fine tip on one side and a more broad tip on the other side that's almost soft like a paintbrush. So it does make it pretty quick and easy work. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my dark brown pen and I'm just going to go down the line there and I'm going to dye the line. I do have to keep a steady hand doing it, and I do have to try to get even coats on it. I mean, it's not a, there's no fast and easy way to do anything in the leather crafting world. But it's a lot easier to control, and there's no drip as if I was using a paintbrush and worrying about dripping on my project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete this one line here and show it to you, and then I will pause the camera and do the rest of my lines because you don't need to sit there and watch the top of my hat while I do this. Now, I went down just the inside of that line, okay, and I need to do the outside of that exact same bead because I want the brush to get, you know, right up to the edge of it. So I don't worry about getting both sides at once. I'll turn it over and go down the other side, and that'll help me get a nice even coat and get the whole line nice and brown without accidentally slipping off the side of it. So we're almost done with this one line here. Just like that. So there's one line done. I still have to do the outside line. Both of them need to be, of course, all the way around. So I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to continue on. And when I come back, we'll talk about sealing and antiquing. All right, so I went ahead and I dyed the edges there. I'll get close enough you can see. Come on, focus. There you go. All right, so I got it to where it dyed the edges pretty good. It's got nice clean lines to it. There's not a lot of, you know, there's no slop to it because these are really, really easy to control. So what I'm going to use next is it's actually another thing from the Real Leather company. Actually, we put this one in our mystery box this past month, and so I thought maybe I should use it on this video just to show folks how well it can work. This is called One Step Leather Dressing. There we go. This is the dark brown color. It's very similar to a product that used to be out there called Leather Glow that you can't find that product anymore. I don't know where it went or who even made it, but I hadn't seen it in a really long time. Anyway, it's called One Step because you put it on, and then that's it. It's sealed, it's colored, it's everything. And what it is it's almost like an antique, that it gets into your tooling and all that stuff, and it highlights those areas. But it's not as heavy as an antique, so it doesn't seriously darken those areas to the point that it overpowers the project. And I don't want this project overpowered. I just want to show off the stamping and stuff that we've done here. So I'll show you how I use this stuff. First things first, I still have tape on the back of my leather from when I tooled it, and I'm going to leave that tape there through this, because if I make a mess of it, I don't want it to get on the back side, because I don't want the back side to get spots all over it that I would have to later line it to cover those up. All right. One of the things that stinks about a lot of these top coats and stains and stuff like that is, like, where do you hold the project while you're using your other hand to rub it? And I've figured out a little bit of a solution to that. Maybe it's a common thing, and I'm just a fool, and it took me this long to figure it out. But I'm going to show you how I do that. I'll take some tape, nice big piece of tape here, turn my project over, and I'll put it up in a corner where it's sticking off of two sides of the corner. See, there's tape right there, there's tape right there. So when I've got this thing here, I can hold it by those pieces of tape right there. Get you down on that again. I can hold it by those pieces of tape right there, and now I don't have my fingerprints on the finish that I'm trying to apply, and I'm not blocking, where I'm trying to rub the finish on. So that's what I've figured out. Again, maybe that's so simple that everybody else has already figured it out, and I'm just playing catch up. I don't know, but surely that little tidbit can help somebody out there. I am going to put on my gloves because I don't want it to look like I don't know how to wash my hands throughout the rest of the day. Just regular old latex gloves. I buy them by the bucket, and we use the heck out of them here. This stuff is real easy to apply. This is just a regular old household sponge. I got it damp and then squeezed every drop of water out of it that I could, so it's just kind of cold and damp. All right. And all I'm going to do, take my lid off there, and I'm just going to get a bunch of it on the sponge, and then I'm just going to slather it on the project here. I'm going to apply it in circles so that it gets into all the little tooling. If I just go back and forth, it'll skip areas. I'm going to apply it in circles, and I'm going to keep applying it until I feel like it's a nice even coat, and there's no lines left, and there's no areas that it's not rubbed into. And again, this isn't going to do a huge darkening of the project. It's just going to give it an overall nice little highlight and coating. And I am going to try to saturate this sponge as much as I can, because, I mean, I do want a good bit of it on there. When it starts to bubble up, I move on to a different area, and I let those bubbles fizzle out. They'll go away pretty quickly. But that will happen as it goes across all the tooling. This is going to look really good with the dark brown buck stitching I plan to do in the assembly process of this this book, this tally book. So here we can see areas actually where this hasn't gotten into yet, and then other areas where it has, and you definitely can see a difference. So you got to make sure and get it everywhere. You want it in all the little tool marks and all the stamps. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right. And we want it to look right because we're spending a lot of time on it. So again, I'm being very liberal with this. I'd rather use a ton of it and get it nice and even and all over than skimp out on it, and an hour from now when it's all said and done and dry, I look at it and I'm like, oh crap, I missed a spot. I'm gonna have to pause this. The mail lady walked in. All right, the mail lady came and went, and we're still making sure we're in all the little areas of this tooling here. I love this finish. I really do. Oftentimes I'm reluctant to antique some things because I don't want the heavy finish on it. but that's not the case with this stuff. So rock on. Now I am going to go and just give it a once over here and get any spots that the stuff is too thick on the smooth leather. It will leave lines and stuff if you're not careful, so you just go back over them before they have a chance to dry real good. And now I'm just going back and looking at individual areas, like every bit of the quilted tooling here. Make sure we got a good amount of this stuff in there. So all right, I think I got it all. Nobody likes the surprise of, like I said, you dry it out or let it dry and everything, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, because it's too late then. It's going to be hard to go back and get an even coating on it going back over it. But I will hold it up for the camera here, show you what that's looking like. It's looking pretty dang awesome. Let me see if I can get some more light over there. And get it to focus. There it is. All right. Now it's got too much light. Go figure. So anyway, there it is. I'm going to let it dry for a while, and then I'll unpause the camera again, and we're done with the finished part of this thing. All right, so here we are. It is done. It is dry, and I'm pretty daggum happy with the results. That stuff really got in there and colored up really nicely in the, let me get the focus right. There we go. Colored nicely into the all the tooling impressions and everything, and I'm super happy about it. And so what we're going to do is we'll finish up this video here, and we're going to start the construction of the actual tally book. So there we go, killing 3 videos with 1 project. Until that time, I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply, and thanks for watching.